the flag, we all beating our chest. When it's peace, it's the same old game, the same old players, same old names. Right. My skin is my sin. My skin is my sin. My skin is my sin.
What's good, fam? Yeah, man. My apologies for that, and shout out to Wayne. Little mix up, but check out the show, the breakdown with Wing the Friends every Wednesday at 7 p.m. The best battle rap show in the business, bar none, and I'm biased. However, it's still a dope show. So how's life? That's what's up. Hold on, let me get AJ on the line right quick. And for whatever reason, my whatchamacallit is just my switchboard is really acting crazy here. But hold on one second. What's good, bruh? AJ, you there? Hello. All right. And see, the thing is, it's like your number is showing up twice, and then like one of them is dropping on its own. It's pretty crazy. Maybe it's the topic tonight. Who knows what it is. But we'll get that fixed and we'll keep it moving. So anyway, life is all right. I have some complaints, but not big complaints. As far as personally, I have some huge complaints. More in a macro perspective, put it that way. Hold on one second, too, fam. What's good, bro? You there? I don't know if it's Blog Talk, bro, or if it's your phone, but you live. So, yeah, and your call dropped again. And anyway, if you're just tuning in, the first time, we typically don't talk about much for the first 10 or 15 minutes anyway. And when I say we don't talk about much, maybe we talk about current events, just chop it up, kind of maybe we hadn't talked to each other over the last couple of days, and we talk about nothing amongst ourselves, So we have a tendency to show up a little late. We understand that because we do the same thing, so we're not mad with anybody, but we kind of respect that. And we're having some technical difficulties at the moment anyway, so it's a nice little grace period. So hopefully AJ's phone is working at this point because, he keep calling back up, and I keep, he's live right now. But technically, he isn't. I don't hear anything, and I don't know if he hears me. Inbox me and let me know if you can at least hear me, AJ. And shout out to everybody that's tuned in. We do have the chat room open, for what good that does sometimes. The number to call up is 347-855-8692. And let me get this out the way right now, because I've been, like people have been upset at me. Like some people. And some people have been supportive of having a dialogue with some brothers and sisters on the police force. Okay, so if you are upset with me, okay, that's cool. You have that right to be upset with me. I'm not sure why. I don't get it, but calm down a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Relax. This is a radio show. It is not the end of the world, And me personally, and this is just me, I'm not a fan of police in general. However, if I knew one that was on the force and I knew they were a good person and I knew that they was actually speaking out for what's going on, towards us, I'm not going to be mad at them. Matter of fact, I support that particular person. It doesn't mean that you have to support, the police in every state and in every district and in every department. No, you see that one person actually gives this shit, and you say, okay, that person needs a little support. I got them. And people sometimes extrapolate that until, you supporting every police officer everywhere, and that's just not the case. Now, I don't know if the brother that's calling up is full of shit. Excuse my language, or if he genuinely cares about his people and just so happens to be a police officer. Either way, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. We're gonna have a nice dialogue, and we're gonna be respectful. I don't mind you having an opposing viewpoint to mine or anybody else on the team, but what you're not gonna do is be disrespectful about it. So let me see if I can get AJ back in, because we're having some real difficulties. It's like the switchboard is lighting up and then it's disappearing instantly. So it's not me, and I see that AJ say he didn't call in several times, and I see that that's happening. I know it ain't him. Yeah, we definitely on. If you can't hear me, let me know. So somebody talk to me and let me know that you can hear me. Because I hate to have to repeat that rant. You got to be able to capture a good rant. Anyway, and where was I? Just kind of and not necessarily. I won't say defending the topic of the show, but I guess it could be taken that way. So, and if you are going to take it that way, oh well. But what you're not going to do is be an asshole and disrespectful. Y'all already know. This is My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. From goons to gods, we welcome everybody. And we only got one rule, and that's be respectful. Bruh, can you hear me? AJ. Like, I don't know what the hell, and it's like every time you call up, your number shows up twice. So hopefully, and I did tell Officer Johnson to call up about 7:15. So, and I'm just trying to get the last four of his number right now, so I won't have him on hold too long. And if you're listening, you're gonna have to press 1 to get on air, so at least I know you're trying to talk. And I'm so horrible at multitasking. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to try to inbox somebody and actually talk at the same time. I know that's pathetic, but hey, it is what it is. I have tried AJ, like, AJ, you live again. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but you live. And I got 2 people in the queue. I have a strange feelings, actually, one of our guests tonight. So if y'all could give me 1 second, I'll get you right on air. I'm going to get to 8965 right quick. And AJ, I'm going to keep trying, bro. I do apologize. It's most certainly not me. So 8965, can you hear me?
Hey, yes, I can hear you, and that's why I'm calling in. My name is Sonia. I can hear you just fine.
Oh, okay. And thank you. How are you, Queen?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm not going to spread my complaints across the internet, but I think I'm okay today.
No one pays you for complaining. Not anymore.
Exactly.
Okay,
and hold on. I think someone else is calling in as well. If you want to hold on 1 second, I want to get them in on the line.
Absolutely.
What's good, fam? 0412?
Yeah, Frontline. What's good with you?
Nothing much. Hey, and I'm sorry. I did not recognize her when I initially picked up the phone, man. My bad. I'm kind of trying to do 64 things at once. So I do apologize. What's going on, King?
Ain't too much. Just had to call in on this issue we having. But I kind of wanted to hear from the officer first. But it might be designed that he can't get in. So never cross that out.
Well, I wouldn't cross that out, and I wouldn't doubt that, to be honest. But I did tell him to call up at a 7:15. So at this moment, it seems like AJ is the only one having like, and it's crazy because when AJ calls up, like every time I see his number twice in the switchboard for some reason, and I can't answer either one, and he can't hear the show.
Yeah. Ooh.
You know, so my apologies for that, fam.
Yeah.
But what I can do is I can come back to you after he calls up, and we've chopped it up for a couple minutes. That's cool with you.
Yeah, that's cool. But I can let me just drop some jewels real quick on those that you was talking about, because I got a couple friends that's police officers as well, and you know my heart's with them, and you know I grew up with them like that, and I know what they're about, and I know they just good-hearted people.
Right.
But that does me no good out here. If the team you work with split my head, that does me no good. I need to work with you. Got to work with you to clear your system up inside, so you can work with us to get our community together the way we need. Don't let them get in your head and how about they got your back. They don't. I got it. I got your back. We got your back because we need you there. And we need you there so this madness right now would not be going down. You're there for a purpose. The only reason why you're there is because we threw bricks. They threw bricks before we born. That led us to even have those positions. Politicians as well. People died. I mean, brutally murdered because they did not want us to have those positions. Because they knew we supposed to oversee our people. But yet, once they get in, once they crack the door with the bricks, that's the only way they cracked it, we're going to tear all this shit up. Ain't nothing safe. We tearing everything up. Okay? Let a few of them in. We brainwash them to watch the rest of them. And that's what they turn into. And they could be good-hearted people. They still who they are. But now you're part of a team that you know that's killing us. And yet you sit back and do nothing. Let us help you, help us to help our community, our nation. So when people talk about good cops, I got to say, man, I don't see them. Because they good cops, they step up.
I'm going to keep it a stack, bro. Like I'm of the same ilk, you know, like, but it's not going to prevent me from at least having a dialogue and letting one particular person say, hey, there's an alternative out here.
And that's where it starts. And that's why I'm respecting it. That's why I'm calling it. That's what I want to hear. But they need to separate themselves. You understand? Now, how can you work for a system? Now, you go in, 3 types of police officers. Those that got bullied.
Hey, King, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I hate to interrupt, but I got to get my co-host Afi on right quick. There we go. Hold on. What's good, Queen?
Peace, everyone. Peace and prosperity.
All right.
How's everyone doing?
We doing all right. And I'm sorry I had to break you up there, King. We got Frontline on the line with us too.
Okay, now what I was saying was there's 3 types of police officers, people that want to be police. Those that was bullied, those that actually want to make a change.
Right.
Then you have the ones that have gun fetishes. Those are the ones who's going out killing us. The jerks, the ones that got to stab you and talk smack to you, those are the ones that got bullied in school. This their time now. They got their badge and their gun. They got their little heart now, which is called the badge. And the ones that actually want to make a difference get lost in all of that. But those are the ones we need to work with. That's why we need this dialogue. I'm so glad you came up with it. That's why we need it. But they got to be willing to work with the people. They got to be willing to work with the people.
I appreciate that too, man. Like for the whole team. Thank you.
Right. I mean, we need it. Because we got to clear these idiots up. But if you're part of a team that you know is killing and you're not saying nothing, you're the problem. And nobody is being held accountable. Now, hold them accountable. You clean up your system. We clean it up.
I feel that.
Not get fired. They got to get fired, but they got to do time. You committed a crime. Now, the Constitution modifies for them. And it kind of should because of the job title. I get it. But when it comes down to you committing a crime, you don't get the same things that we get because it modifies for you. So you don't get to pick a judge or a jury. You automatically get that jury. You're in the hands of the people. We pay you. We're not going to let you go, and just like that whole Freddie Gray case. All these officers had the same judge. How does that go down?
Wow.
How does that even go down? They had the opportunity to get a judge. That's the criminal system. Somebody owes somebody a favor. So with that favor, I'm going to get these officers off. Because that judge owed me a favor. Because he wouldn't be there if it wasn't for me. So I need all of these officers acquitted. So whatever you need to do, I need you to do it. And that's where our community fails. Because we don't want to go to court. We don't want to sit on the jury to make sure Ray get a fair trial.
We don't want to elect judges either.
And that. So we going out to the camps the We Will Win Foundation. We're going out to the summer camps and letting them know how important the voting is and how important serving on the jury is. We need it, but we need the officers like you got calling in to come and spread that type of knowledge as well. This is where we start that bond right there, to teach it to our babies, so they ain't got to go through this mess.
No doubt. And on that note, man, Officer Johnson, if you're out there and you listening and you tuned in, I did inbox you. But just press 1 so you can get in. And if you having any difficulties, let me know. Just inbox me, and we'll do what we can to resolve those. If I got to have myself or Alfie just give you a call on the 3-way. But yeah, it's. I knew it was a polarizing topic, just for myself personally, but I did not realize some of the, the collateral venom. It's like even if you want to approach the subject with some people, you're like enemy of the state. And then there was a lot of people that's like, you know what, that's dope. We need to have that dialogue. And I was surprised at some of the people that had each viewpoint, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Whereas there were some people where I might have thought had been more contentious about it was actually like, no, man, that's kind of dope. And some people who I thought would be like, that's kind of dope, was like, you ain't
shit. Those people gonna weed themselves out. It's got to be a common ground. I mean, we need it. They just got to come clean first. I mean, it can't happen on this side if they not together. And the problem is, we see your training, because when you got to go pull up on a white person, your training comes out.
That it does.
Your proper training. I mean, I've seen white boys get out the car with guns, ARs. We better not, man. Come on.
And I posted the other day that I was on my way back home to Detroit, and admittedly I'm doing like 80 miles an hour.
Okay.
And I see the police right on the side, and I look at him looking at me. Said, "Fuck this!" I pulled over instantly. And waited for him to quote unquote pull me over.
Right.
And,
no, they ain't gonna let you do their job for him.
Well, actually, it kind of fucked his head up, because I'm sitting there, hands on the steering wheel, a window down, like, yep, I was speeding. I got my shit right there. You can see it. Like here's my paperwork. Bam. And he came back to the car and was like, okay, I'm gonna let you go. And at the time, I'm thinking, wow, that's dope. But after thinking about it, I realized, like subconsciously, I was trying to reduce the odds of a negative interaction and me ending up with a bullet in my head.
Right. Right.
That's fucked up.
But what you did, he can respect. And I'm tired of seeing these videos where we interacting with the police and we got all this mouth. Dude, you have no win. Shut up. Outsmart them. Get home. That's the key. Get home. Fight from your house. Call your lawyer once you get home. You understand? But sitting there going back and forth with them, because if they got in their head, they're going to take you to jail. That's where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're going. Once you start arguing, you're resisting. Shut up. That's your best defense. Shut up. Now, speaking of your defense, now, your Miranda rights is actually a Miranda warning. Because
right.
when
they don't even have to do that anymore.
Well, they do it once you're in cuffs because they already got what they need to put you in cuffs. That's why your best defense is to shut from the beginning. They don't tell you that. They keep you talking so you can say something so they can lock you up. Then they're going to read you your rights. But at that time, they got enough evidence to lock you up. So they got to give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you got to shut. And I learned that because I had an incident. And it was a non-crime. Well, it was a crime, but it was crazy shit. But anyway, they came in the house. They came to my house. I wasn't there, so they left word to come see him. And I went down there. You know, I'm an innocent guy. So I goes down there. And he's telling me, before he can ask me the questions, he has to read me this. If I'm down there to answer your questions, why you got to read it to me if I'm not being arrested? They have to tell you that before they even start questioning.
You know what? That may be different, because I know I went to a same situation, and they didn't even bother to do nothing. So.
What do you mean? You got locked up? Come.
Oh my goodness, yeah, bro. And I'm not gonna get into no details. This was a long ass time ago. But yeah, man, hey, nothing. And I spoke to that, and it was pretty much like, oh well.
Did you have a lawyer again?
Yes, I did. And AJ, I hold on one second. AJ, I got you live, bro. I don't know if you can hear or what the situation is. But your call dropped again, bro, and I promise you that it's not me. But and Officer Johnson just hit me up. He also, what I did not know, and he just informed me, is that he's speaking at 5th grade graduation. So as soon as he gets done with that, he gonna call up, and we'll get it chopping, before that. So in the meantime, in between time, we're trying to get our other co-host AJ in. We got Frontline on the line, and we got the Queen Alfie as usual on the line. So if you got any questions or comments, you can still press 347-855-8692. You got to press 1 if you want to get on air. And the topic tonight is, let me get into that, is black officers behind the blue line. Are they standing for us? And we anticipating having actually more than just Officer Johnson, but we'll see. Everybody say yeah until it's time to say yeah. So we know who the soldiers are when they show up on the line. I won't. Okay, well, let me backtrack that. I won't say the soldiers. We know who at least trying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
May I add something to the conversation?
Feel free,
give a little perspective of
and I'm sorry, I forgot you was on the line.
That's okay. That's all right. I was just listening to the conversation, and I wanted to. I have family members that are police officers, so not just people that I know. I have family members that in various different states, and I will not sit down and dialogue with them about any of the things that are going on with the relationship between police officers and black people. And this is the reason why, and to add a little bit more perspective as to why some people couldn't grasp this as being a good thing, the dialogue that you're opening up. I have no interest in talking to someone behind anything. When I see police officers come out and begin to speak and stand with people against wrongdoing that their colleagues have committed, then I will sit down and respect to talk to you. People can tell you anything behind the doors, behind the walls, their safety. But in this day and time, we need you to be a little bit more proactive. No, let me correct that. I need you to be a little bit more proactive. So I'm not interested in dialoguing with police, but I am interested in telling them this. Okay, and I'm speaking to any police officer of the law that's listening. You know that in this day and time, your allegiance is not to the welfare of the people. It is to your job and to your institution. And you know that when you come out and you go and you do these little community events, and I have them here in the county in which I live in, okay, you know that you want to change the subject. You're not ready to dialogue because, number one, you don't want to lose that position of power. Number two, you're scared to come up against wrongdoing when it's in your house. And number three, you're just being a coward. So when they come out forefront with what they're willing to tell us at the family reunion, if you have family members that are officers, or they're willing to tell you in church, or they're willing to tell you wherever, okay, I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
I feel you on that. I do, but let me play devil's advocate. Let me come from the position of the quote unquote the black cop. Okay. Why you not saying nothing to black nurses and black doctors? Because if you look at the numbers, like they fucking over black people way worse than we are.
Okay, let me go ahead and respond to that, and I love it when people want to play the devil's advocate. Okay, how many nurses have we that have murdered black people that hit the news? How many? Name me one.
They hit the news? Oh no.
They hit the news. We know what happened.
None that I can recall.
Okay.
Wait, do y'all mean literally kill? Because every time one writes a prescription, with the subject of this conversation, I was under the impression was about police officers. See, this is another thing. This is another thing that we as black people have to understand. Duality can exist. Duality can exist, but there comes a time when we have to separate issue from issue and deal with what is at hand. We have to stay, and I think that is where we start to lose our effectiveness. Because to be honest with you, that's what they will do. And I'll give you an example away from well, no, it's not. When a police officer, period, black or white, kills an unarmed black man or woman or child, the first thing that we allow people to do, but certainly not me, is bring up black on black crime. The two issues are not that we cannot allow them to be connected in a dual state. We have to separate them. Now,
I get what you're saying, yeah, and that happens often too, you know, and that's why I try to preface the statement by, you know, it's not what I think personally, but I've heard the pushback so much that I know what, you know, typically comes out their mouth. What about this? It's a deflection, marathon basically, as opposed to actually having an honest dialogue and saying, hey, this is what's happening, this is what we see. You know, at some point you was in our shoes. How come you can't remember that?
Right. I am a firm believer that when you approach anyone about any subject, if their first reaction is to deflect, they're not a person that you want fighting for you on your behalf at all. Because when it comes to defending or speaking for you, they're going to deflect to something else. Some of these, I'm being real honest. If a person's reaction to anything that you bring to them in any matter, if it is to deflect, and it can be as simple as coming out and saying, oh, the sky is beautiful and blue today. And the first thing that they say is, no, it's not. It looks green to me. Stay away from that person because they will never.
I feel you 1,000% with that one.
They will never see. I'm sorry.
They will
Yeah,
never
those
see
them
things
energy
the way
vacuums right there. Like they will
like
steal
them.
your energy in a second.
Right. Thank you for allowing me to have a chance to say something here. But I think that this conversation is great, and I'm glad that I had a Thursday evening off to finally call into your show. You guys keep up the good work.
No doubt. And salute to
Thank
you.
you.
Definitely
We
appreciate it.
your info.
No doubt.
I'm gonna hang on. I'm gonna listen, but I'm gonna put myself on mute.
Okay, I got you. And salute to you. Appreciate it. That was dope. Frontline, you still there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Just making sure
You
after we got you.
You got to let Sonya get hers off. You know, she's only like
No doubt.
4'11", so you know how them short people be.
Hey, man, no short jokes, bro. I'm short myself. We ain't going to do that.
Yeah, I forgot. Y'all gonna stand on each other's shoulder and jump me next time you see me. I get it.
Right. You know, I will fuck some ankles up.
Yeah.
Man. And, you know, like in preparing for the shows, I do try to do a little research or whatnot. So I'm trying to find, like, basically I had to go to Officer Johnson's page, who does post a lot of stuff that he does. And I mean, something simple to like balling with some kids to, you know, I don't know, taking them somewhere, you know, a lot of community interaction on his part.
That's what we need.
And he ain't afraid to tell you, like, he had one and he was talking a little trash. Like, he dare any other police officer to say that they putting in more work than him. You know, I like that. I like that in him. So I found it really, you know, like I have a strong hate for the police, period. You know,
yeah.
But I found myself being able to say, you know, like having a little conversation with dude, like, okay, you might be a little different. So at least having a conversation with you might not piss me off, like it would in 1,000% of any other case. So with that being said, that at least that's a good start from my perspective, I guess. You know. What would the alternative be? Like, and I think me and Ron was talking about this the other day. And say for those people that don't want to have a dialogue, okay. So, and they say all black police officers are coons and whatever you want to call them, sellouts, blase splee. Okay, what if all black police officers quit?
Exactly.
They got tired of that shit. We ain't taking it no more. Y'all saying we sellouts. Okay,
we buying back
now
in.
What if they all quit?
On that.
Like, would it get worse for us?
Then, no, the fight will be real. It will be on. I got to always go to Nat Turner.
Mm-hmm.
When he asked the slaves, 80% stood up. 100% stood up. When he asked who want their freedom, who's going to do to get their freedom, 80% stepped forward. First rule of business was to turn around, kill the 20% that did not step forward. Those are our biggest threats. Now, Master, he has handpicked who he's going to put in his house.
Okay.
And check them. Check them from the beginning. You're going to be getting a lot of money. Stay away from that shit. And that's all they hear. I'm getting a lot of money. I got to stay away from that shit. And that's how they carry us. Now, they work against us. We had Charles Barkley come down here.
Yeah, I
got to say, we had a West Wednesday with Tawanda Jones. Now, she always had these West Wednesdays. Now, the TNT reached out to her.
And hold on 1 second, King. I got somebody else in the queue, too. I want to make sure that everybody kind of get their piece tonight, too. So don't go nowhere, though. But I'm just going to get to 4847 right quick. What's good, fam?
Hey, it's Christina. How y'all doing?
Oh, doing great. How about yourself?
Good. So I finally got a chance I was listening to the show. I finally got an opportunity to give y'all a call. So, hello, Kings. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. And don't forget the Queen Afi. She on the line, too.
I'm sorry. I didn't get her back there. Hello, Queen. How you doing? But, so, you know, I wanted to throw in because y'all, I don't know if y'all kind of moved past this when I was calling in, but, you know, I heard somebody say, you know, what's the alternative, like, what happens if they all quit? And I think one of the things that we often can easily get caught up in with all of this is understanding the larger reaching issue. While I do believe in accountability and a personal accountability, my father is a police officer, right? But I also think we need to look and understand that there's a systemic problem. So let's just hypothetically in this world, let's remove all the black police officers, or let's fix police brutality in general. That doesn't resolve the issues that are taking place for black people. And so we have to understand that what they are a part of, some of them, as you were just saying, you read his page, you like yada yada. I tell my daddy all the time, like, man, I don't got no love for the police because I get this, right? But
and how does he respond?
He understands. My dad's no fool. My daddy from Chicago, so he understands. But his purpose and his goal for going into that was bigger than I just want to make some money or anything like that. He had good intentions. Without getting too much detail, he does get stifled very much. He is, a black officer of high ranking with a high degree, and there are problems within the unit because he's the only black officer of high ranking, of high degree. So there are problems, that they have to face. And that, again, doesn't remove personal accountability in any way, shape, or form. But we have to understand that this is a systemic problem. So it's not always a face. It's not always a person that's the problem. The system is the problem. And so let's just, again, hypothetically remove that police brutality. We're still going to have issues surrounding food. We still have, issues in our schools. We still have issues in our homes that are problems for black people. So I think we kind of have to look at it in a bigger context. That's how I try to view everything, and I'm also a teacher. So education.
Thank you.
And no problem. But I'm big on education. And I have the privilege of teaching at a school where I have the freedom. I teach at an African Center school here in Atlanta. I'm at Imhotep Academy, right? And so I have the privilege of having these really open conversations with my children about police officers, answering these questions. But I'm also at a private school. So a lot of the things that people face in certain areas, my children don't have to endure. So there are different questions and different conversations that we get to have. Right. And so I've been able to, in viewing it through their eyes, been able to see things and say, you know what, it's not just, and I'm not, let me be clear, I'm speaking only about black police officers. I'm not speaking about white police officers. Okay, that's a whole different level.
That's a whole different
bias.
animal.
Everything comes into that. Yes, but when I'm talking about black police officers, it's a systemic issue.
And Christina,
and so
hold on one second. Christina, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Alfie, you got some background noise.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Like if you got like a Bluetooth in, that's usually what it is.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm on speakerphone.
That's okay. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Usually that's what it is, and it's gone, so we don't. I'm sorry about that, Christina.
Okay. No. But I just wanted to, say that this is a systemic issue, and so for black people, when we enter into these systems, if we're not properly educated about them to begin with, we will perpetuate white supremacist ideology ourselves. We will perpetuate we will go in with these same biases against our people. And so that's why I said, I have the privilege of speaking to black children, and so I talk to them about a variety of subjects, a variety of things. And the one thing I'm constantly pushing at them, don't ever box your people in a box, because what they say about your people may not always be true. Learn for yourself, see for yourself, adventure into things for yourself. And so we're not teaching the people that. Then black officers, yes, what do you expect? We're sending them. It's like I tell people all the time, you would never send your children out into the world not knowing how to read or write and expect them to get a job. So why do you send them into a system designed by white people and expect them to thrive without any knowledge of it? And so that's really how I feel when we're talking about black police officers. Some of them obviously are good. Some of them don't get it. And the ones that don't get it, I look at it like you missed the education bus, and what can we do to fix that from henceforth? So I just wanted to throw that take in there for y'all. So.
And salute to you, Queen. Definitely appreciate you calling in.
No problem. I listen all the time. I don't always get to talk because, like I said, I'm teaching. But I appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. Y'all have a good night.
You too. That's dope. That's very dope. And and I do apologize that AJ ain't on. I don't know what's going. He got like 74 phones, so hopefully he go get 1 through 20 and try those. We do got another caller on the line, and I'm not exactly sure where they're calling from. Might kind of like be international, or they got it blocked, or whatever the case is. We're gonna see, because it just say all ones in the queue. And Officer Johnson just hit me up and said that he should be calling up shortly. And if you have been hiding under a rock and not familiar, we got the Queen Afi on the line. I am Jobs, and you are tuned in to My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. From goons to gods, we welcome everyone. We only got one rule, and that's be respectful. Definitely remember that part tonight. And let's get to this. Let's get to this all ones call right quick. What's good, fam?
Thank you for taking my call, sir. I am a retired Illinois State policeman. I worked for most of my 26 years in and around Cook County, and particularly in Chicago, Illinois. And I'd like to speak to the metaphor given just a moment ago by the gentleman comparing the situation with Nate Turner and the slave rebellion in Virginia in 1831, I believe. The current day situation, I guess, involving black people, police officers, and the need to, I guess, overturn, subvert, or alter the system.
Let me ask you this question before you start. Are you a black man? I'm just curious.
I'm a black man, sir. All of my life I've been one. Well, not all. Well, since I've been 21, I've been a black man.
I got you on that one. All right. My bad. I just kind of wanted to know.
Oh, absolutely, sir. And I love being a black man because that gives me access to a large extent to black women. So that's one reason I love being a black man.
Right. That is a beautiful thing right there, man.
But the metaphor, I think, is a bit lacking for this reason. I'm not saying everything is hunky-dory in the United States now for black people, because it isn't. And there are a number of factors beyond mere institutional and or systemic racism. But the main reason that metaphor doesn't work is because during the Nate Turner Rebellion, black slaves were not citizens. The 14th Amendment hadn't been passed yet. Black people today born in the United States, for the most part, almost all of them are not just citizens. They are natural-born citizens. I am a natural-born citizen, meaning no other country in the world can claim my allegiance. I am only a citizen of this nation. Therefore, I'm entitled to the privileges, immunities, and rights thereunto of any other citizen in the state wherein I reside. It doesn't hold true. Nat Turner is precisely what we have today. Now, as a police officer,
I hate to interrupt you, but I think to your point right there is that even though technically on paper that you are absolutely correct, it's the application of that that is not correct. We are not getting treated equally. We are not getting the privileges and the rights that has supposedly been ascribed to us. And that's the problem. And before I let you respond to that, I also have our guest on the line. Officer Johnson just called up, and he's in the queue. If you don't mind, sir, I want to get both of y'all on the line. And me, you, him, and Afi can kind of bounce off a couple of things and see what we can get to. Is that cool with you?
Oh, I'd be more than happy to do that, sir. I mean, I'm looking forward to this if you will allow me to. Thank you very much.
It's a beautiful thing, man. Hold on one second. We're going to get to Officer Johnson. What's good, fam?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, man. How's life?
Life is wonderful. I can't complain.
You're welcome, Officer Johnson.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
It's good. I just wanted to say, man, I appreciate you for what you do, man, and reaching out and trying to shed light to some of these issues, man. I really do.
You know what, man? I appreciate you for coming on, man, because it's got to be tough, you know, from your standpoint. Because I seen the videos and I see that you're actually out in the community and you're doing your thing, you know. But your boys is not doing their thing, and that's causing problems for you. How do you, you know? And you know what? Let me backtrack before we get into that. You know, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack before we get into that. Let people know, if you want to, where you at. You know, how long you've been an officer, the whole nine, and what do you do in the community?
Well, I'm in Texas. I'm in Texas. I'm on the south side of Dallas. I've been an officer for 10 years. Actually, the 13th of June will be 10 years. And man, that's. I'm gonna start out by saying, man, growing up, I didn't even like cops. I'm just gonna be honest with you, and I share this story with people from time to time. How I got into law enforcement, I was about 12 years old, and living in Dallas, in the suburb. If anybody's familiar with the Dallas area, I grew up in the inner city of Dallas, in a neighborhood called Oak Cliff. And Oak Cliff is probably the worst neighborhood in Dallas from certain standpoints. It's the hood. Let's just be real. It's the hood. And so, you know, living in the hood, growing up in the hood, you saw a lot of things, you know what I mean? And so this one particular year was probably about 1997, around 97, 98. Our house had got broken into 9 times in 1 year, man. I kid you not. 9 times in 1 year. So this one particular morning, my parents, they went to work. It was just me and my brother at home. They go to work at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I was responsible for getting my younger brother up, getting him ready for school, and getting him to school. And so this one particular morning, probably about 6:15, the sun hadn't come up yet or nothing. Our house had just got broken into 2 weeks prior. And long story short, man, it was a crackhead, man. He was breaking in our house while me and my younger brother were there. And I kid you not, man. I kid you not. I did call the police. But the order that I made my phone calls, I called my mom first, who was at work. I called my grandmother second, who stayed around the corner. I called my uncle third, who stayed around the corner as well. And I called the police last. In doing so, so my grandmother showed up first. My uncle showed up like a minute later. The guy ran off. You know, everything was cool. It took Dallas Police Department about 1 hour and 45 minutes to respond to the burglary in progress call.
With 2 kids in the house.
With 2 kids in the house. So when the officers show up, you know, I'm giving them my statement and telling them what's going on. And I can remember having a sense of, it wasn't a sense of urgency on their part. In my opinion, as a 12-year-old, in my opinion, it wasn't a sense of urgency on their part. So I distinctly remember, man, the officers pissed me off to the point where I made a statement to them. I said, you know what? I told them just like this, verbatim. I said, I'm so upset right now. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna graduate high school, go to college, get a degree, become a police officer, become the chief, and I'm going to fire y'all ass. Just like that. As a 12-year-old.
You literally said that.
I literally said that because that's how displeased I was with the service that I had gotten on a burglary in progress call with 2 kids in the house. And that, I guess that was kind of the driving force that kind of led me towards law enforcement. But as I got older, of course, that changed a little bit. So as I got older, it changed into, you know what, man, I want to bridge the gap. I want to bridge the gap. I want to be that vehicle of transportation to get this void filled for my people, for my community. And that's pretty much what I've been doing since then. In a nutshell, that's my story on how I got into law enforcement and where I stand with it.
Okay. Well, how about you, sir? And I do apologize. I forgot your name. If you want to let the people know what your name is, my apologies.
Larry's good enough.
Larry is good enough. All right. Similar story as to why you got into law enforcement. Was it strictly just a business move, or were you trying to make a difference?
No, I gotten out of the Army after the Vietnam era. I'd been knocked around a bit in various jobs, truck driving, auto repair, who knows what. Then I saw posted on an opportunity that they were taking applications for Illinois State Police, and I decided to go ahead and take the exam, take the physical agility test, and the rest of it. And I got accepted, went to the academy, and just started a career. So
okay.
But I really did it because I really, really, really believe that police officers are the thin blue line to protect the community. I really believe that police officers are the ones who put themselves on the line to protect us. And I understand that we're not, police officers are not perfect. And there's, in many departments, depending on what department you're talking about, there's greater or lesser degrees of corruption. And undoubtedly, there always will. I can guarantee you, the men and women that I worked with, almost to a person, when they strapped on the gun and put on the badge in the morning, they really, in the back of their minds, hoped they would either do something ennobling, uplifting, or heroic when they went to work today, and went to work that day. And believe me, police work is as boring as anything can be until those moments of terror, adrenaline rush, and excitement occur.
But see,
you can have six and a half hours of utter boredom, paperwork, sitting around, waiting around in court to testify, and then they tell you don't have to testify, sitting there for a grand jury hearing, who knows what, and then all of a sudden you got to go from 0 to 100 in a split second. And believe me,
and I get that,
weary.
but I kind of want to backtrack as far as you saying that your fellow officers wanted to be heroes for the day or do something good, and that may be
beat somebody
that may
up
actually
and
be.
kick somebody
hold on
around.
1 second though,
I'm certain
because that may actually
I know
be
most
true.
of these guys really well.
And I get that. That may be actually true, but who are they trying to be a hero to? Is the problem? Are they trying to be a hero to the community?
Let me give your brother just
in a lot of cases. Wait a minute,
hold
on, don't. I didn't. Hold on. Let me finish my statement though.
Might I give you an epiphany in my police career?
Wait a minute, but hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. It's like a lot of us, with Officer Johnson, the story that he gave as a 12-year-old is our experience in a lot of cases with police officers, and that's the problem. And those police officers feel like heroes to their community or to a community that does not live in the community that they are policing. That's a problem. And it's a real big problem when his brother's doing it because you feel like they should understand a little bit more. Right? Ain't no a little bit more.
And
a hell of a lot
sound
more.
like good policing to me, no matter who does it. For whatever
how is that
reason,
how is that not good policing, though?
No, but that isn't good policing. That isn't ennobling. That isn't uplifting. That isn't what you are there for as a member of the Blue Line. So I'm not going to sit there and condone that sort of behavior. But might I give you an epiphany in my particular police career that really made me a better police officer?
Go ahead.
All right. There was a little girl, and her parents had been visiting the projects. It's a famous project that's been torn down now in Chicago. It was on Roosevelt Road in Chicago. It's called the Abla Housing Project. There was a 3-year-old girl who was visiting with her parents who had moved to the suburbs to get away from the crime in the Abla homes. And she was out in the playground, in the project, playing out there, and she got caught up in a crossfire between 2 beefing, drug-dealing gangs. And she took a bullet in the head. Now, I was working in that area at the time. I had been assigned to a detail in that area. And I had some informers, some snitches, and they told me about a guy who wasn't directly involved in the shooting, because this was a poor little girl who got caught up in the crossfire and, of course, killed. But he said he knew one of the players who knew who were the players. So I knew where this guy hung out. I scooped him up, and I was holding him for the city TAC officers to come down and speak to him about it. And while I was there, I just struck up a conversation with him, just sort of idly, because I didn't really think he was a suspect or anything. I just wanted to have a little conversation with him, see where his head was at, and, try to understand a little bit better, because I knew he was running with the gang culture. And I said,
So wait a minute, hold on. So you just went and picked this guy up that hadn't done anything?
No, yeah. He said he would look. Yes, I did, because I knew he knew who the shooters might have been, and he knew I had some stuff on him. So I asked him to do me a favor and talk to the city TAC people who've been assigned the case.
That's why we don't.
I mean, we wanted to get these killers. They killed a 3-year-old girl.
Right, but you denied that man his rights, though.
I didn't deny him his rights. I asked him if he would stay. Kind of with a little bit of pressure.
No, you asked him under duress.
Leaving, I would have let
you
him
had
go.
something on him, whereas he had no choice but to say yeah. That's not asking him. That's telling him you're going to do it for a favor.
With my request, it was a petty beef, but I could have locked him up for it. But I said, look, if you'll talk to the city TAC guys, I won't lock you up, and you can go on your merry way.
That's a threat.
No,
right,
no,
that's
man,
cold, bro.
What it is a trade. I had
it actually is a trade, man. You trying to trade people, man. Like that's not cool, bro.
Reason to arrest. Now, if I give you a choice of being arrested or speak to officers about a major murder of a 3-year-old girl, what do you think is appropriate?
You're saying you're giving him a choice. That's not a voluntary
Well, no matter. I just like to finish the story, and then you can excoriate me for my choices. But
all right, go ahead.
But anyway, I'm having a discussion with this young man about the gang life and the gang beef, and I'm saying, look, why don't y'all be a little bit more discriminating where your rounds go, so you don't hit innocent 3-year-old children visiting their grandparents from out of town? And he looked at me right dead smack in my eye without a sense or a hint of irony. I could tell this kid was deadly serious. He was 17 years old. He looked at me. He was deadly serious. He said, well, look, man, didn't nobody want to shoot the little girl, but these people up in here, they know what time it is. When they hear the shooting, they supposed to get out the way. And he said it to me just like, I've never forgotten these words. And I began to realize in that moment, crystallized for me, that I had made certain assumptions about people, that we shared the same broad conclusions and beliefs about matters of importance and principles and morals. And I began to realize many people simply don't share that view. That made me a better police officer. I did a better job, and I could do it from then on. I didn't really understand it before that.
How so do you believe you became a better police officer?
He was deadly serious. In other words, it was the little girl's fault and her parents for not getting her out of the way of their bullets, and he was serious.
I'm asking you, how so do you believe you became a better police officer because of that incident?
Because I stopped assuming everyone shared my belief system. I began to look at it the way someone like this kid did. I began to figure out that, wait a minute, yes, it is possible for people to actually believe a 3-year-old girl is responsible for her getting shot by drug-dealing gangs. I didn't believe
I'm not
things like that before.
No one's denying that, sir. No one's denying that you were right on that point. I think our main issue is that you so easily brush over the civil rights violations that you made because
I gave him a choice. I could either arrest him.
That is not a choice.
What would you take if I gave you that?
Sir, let me answer your question. That is not a choice for you to say you can either talk to me or you can go to jail.
No, I'm just going to talk to somebody else.
That's a fact, but hold on one second, family. Hold on 1 second, family, because hey, Afi, if you can you take the speaker off? And I don't want to neglect our guest too, Officer Johnson. But
oh man, I'm taking it all in, man. I'm good. I'm just listening.
Okay,
you know.
but the
I don't necessarily agree.
Officer Johnson, what do you think?
Go ahead.
I kind of want to speak to what he's saying, though, if y'all give me just 1 second, and I do apologize. But it seems to me that what that officer is talking about is, I think, I would assume, never being a police officer, but having been in the profession for a significant amount of time, there's always a turning point in someone's career. I think that his turning point led to bias. Led to him viewing all of us the same way as that one guy who said a fucked up thing and did a horrible act. That's our problem.
Can I say
my
something
thing
to that?
is that among our own, is it possible to eliminate that bias, or B, how are y'all addressing when you clearly see one of our own being biased towards our own? What you did to that man was you basically threatened that. Ain't no basically. You literally threatened that man. You threatened him with going to jail, and in doing so, there's a possibility of violence being brought upon him as a result of him going to jail for something that, had that little girl not been shot, you would have not ever approached him. That was like your ace in the hole. So it's not like you just happened to see the guy and said, "Well,
no,
yeah, I'm gonna pull him over." No, you knew
and not giving him any
knew
choice,
you had
because there
something
wouldn't have
hanging
been
over
anything
this guy.
to give him a choice for. He would have gone directly to jail.
Yeah, I want
to understand. I'm amazed that you give me hold on, to the murder of a little girl.
I want to let Officer Johnson
This guy
to
provided information that helped to lead to the apprehension of the shooters. And you're giving short shrift to it. A 3-year-old girl.
No.
You keep repeating a 3-year-old girl like we don't get that point. But despite whatever the crime was, you can't just blatantly violate someone's rights because you feel like that person may have some information that can help you solve a case. No matter if she was 3, 30, or 83, it didn't make a difference. You picked that man up off of some hearsay because you thought he would have some information, and you violated his civil rights.
I wouldn't have given him a choice. He would have gone.
Hold on, King. You can't talk over the Queen at any point. I'm just gonna let you know that one. But I will say this: you can't pull out the Constitution when it suits you. You can't pull out the law when it makes you feel better. You can't tuck the law away when you feel like you are superior to what the law says. And what you did was you tucked the law away. That man, you knew that man didn't know them. You knew that he may have known somebody that did know them from somebody else. I understand your rationale as to, there are certain times where I may have to be a little bit more aggressive because of the nature of the situation. But in doing so, you seem to have continued that pattern. You could tell in the venom in your voice that was just the first time. That was just,
and say it like it's no issue, like you did absolutely nothing wrong.
But you, right, what you did was wrong.
Let me say something right quick.
But hold on, I want to make sure that Officer Johnson gets a chance to respond to that right quick too. So hold on. Go ahead, Officer Johnson.
I'm gonna keep it all the way real with y'all, man, all the way real, because that's the only way I know how to be. In policing, man, it's a game. It's a game. Like I say, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the streets. I'm not a stranger to the streets and the games that's played in the streets. And that's how I educate my people. And when I say my people, I mean my people that's still in those situations in the hood, still doing the same thing. I actually try to educate them. Hey, man, this is what's going to happen. This is, this is. I'm not, some people like, oh man, you a traitor, you a mole. No, it's not that at all, because one thing you have to understand is there's no secrets when it comes to law enforcement. Law enforcement is not a secret society or any of that. Everything that we do is public record, public information. So therefore, I'm within.
That's not true, Officer Johnson. That's not true though.
You don't think so?
No, you know, when y'all do something.
Technically, it is. Everything that we do is public information. Everything. It's supposed to be. Now, if it's covered up, that's one thing.
Right. Well, but the problem is that, like, it's not the big things that's covered up. It's the gazillion little things. The motherfucker they pulled over just because they looked at him and didn't like the fact that he looked back.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
they don't call that in, but it just that you feel like, you scared.
Right. But like my brother was saying a minute ago, he basically what he did, he played old boy. He played him. And we all watched gangster movies in the past. He gave him an offer. He gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. That's all.
But was that okay? But why does that make that okay?
It doesn't. It's not okay.
It's not okay. So this is my question, and I want you to answer this honestly. If law enforcement are doing things that are not okay, you clearly understand that it's not okay. If you're supposed to be held to a higher standard than the average citizen, then why do you guys expect the average citizen to be law-abiding and do things that are okay and in good order when you yourselves do not when it suits you?
All right. Ma'am, may I ask you a question, please?
When you answer my question, sure.
Of course, it's absolutely essential that you hold the police to the highest standard because of the authority and the power the police have. You run the risk of tyranny if you don't. So I hope I made that absolutely clear.
Well, you just reiterated what I said. So absolutely, now that we have that established.
Yeah, we all in agreement on that.
But that's not reflective of your behavior. That's not reflective of your behavior in that story that you told us.
That sounds good.
Let me ask you a question.
Said, but it's a double.
Would it have been better for me to simply arrest the young man?
Can someone answer my question? Can someone answer my question?
Hold on, fam.
Yeah, how do you expect the citizen? Yeah.
Hold on, fam. One person at a time. And I had to mute Queen and the other officer. I'm about to bring y'all back on. We can't talk over each other, and I do apologize, Queen. That's your first mute, man. I'm going to have to write this down in my diary.
Arrest him and put him in jail. So, I mean, it would have been better to just put him straight in jail or let him tell what he knew that helps to lead to the arrest of murderers.
No, it would have been better for you to pick. It would have been better for you to pick him up on a legitimate charge and then proceed. That's what would have been better. But that's what you chose not to do. So my question again, I'll repeat. How do you expect your citizens to be law-abiding citizens if you yourself, who should be held higher at a higher standard than the average law-abiding citizen, does not do things righteously? How do you expect citizens to?
I wouldn't expect them to, but I really don't think my conduct would rise to that level.
The story you just described, your conduct did rise to that level. What are you not missing about your malbehavior in that scenario?
You know, what was unlawful about my behavior?
I'm out right now.
What was unlawful about your behavior?
And I'd like Officer Johnson to explain to you what in my actions were unlawful.
You can explain to me. You can explain to me because you're a grown man. You don't seem to need someone to speak up for you. So let me ask you this question.
Hey, Queen, hold on one second. Queen, we gonna move past him for a second. And I do apologize.
Yeah, we need to, because I don't think he's going to answer that question. I don't know if he doesn't comprehend the question that I'm asking.
And what I am going to say in response to what he said was, and this is what I gathered. In his mind, it's okay to do it in an extreme circumstance, such as a 3-year-old getting shot.
Well, he should admit that. He should admit that instead of reiterating the circumstances about her being a 3-year-old child, as if there aren't other crimes that.
Not everybody can, is eloquent. But the problem with that is that the precedent that it set is that trickles down into now, if you think somebody got $100 worth of weed, you're going to pull them over and do the same thing. You're allowing a whole bunch of people to say, well, the black guy did it. It's okay for us to do it too. And you did it to one of your own when you probably could have elicited that same information without going to that extent.
Absolutely.
It was a 3-year-old girl who don't want to see somebody like don't act like we, you basically saying we, and maybe I'm taking it wrong, but it's basically like saying like we are savages. Like that's a 3-year-old girl. Like who the fuck wants to see a 3-year-old girl besides that one idiot? Even people that he know. It's like, bruh, that's fucked up, that's wrong. Make no mistake about it. You shoot a kid, it's somebody in your circle that's saying, dude, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to assume that man would not have just readily given up the information under those circumstances. You know.
And let me apologize for how forceful I was with it. I don't know if the brother's still on the line with asking him those questions. Is that it just that annoys me when an officer himself does not understand when he himself violates someone that's not under arrest, has not committed a crime that he is aware of, and so blatantly violates him and just throws it around. And from that point on, I feel like that took away anyone else's benefit of the doubt when he had to ask someone a question. That right there seems to me like from that point on, there was no benefit of the doubt with anyone. Whatever he needed to do to get whatever information he wanted to get, he went to that,
and that was a turning
level.
point in his career.
Yeah, that was a turning point. That's what that was.
Yeah.
But I apologize.
And for the rest of us, that
him
was negative.
And our other guest.
Oh, we'll be all right.
Oh, no, you fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely not a savage. I do know when my behavior is unreflective of the standard or the status that I should be holding.
Oh, you all right. You did a great job, Queen, and I can understand. You know, and we all try to look at things. Well, we hopefully try to look at things from all points of view. Man, that your speakerphone. I'm gonna have to send you another speaker.
I'm sorry.
It's like you are in a wind tunnel.
You still hear it now? I'm not on speakerphone anymore.
Oh, who is that? Is it me?
It might be
Officer Johnson.
Yeah,
my bad, Queen. My apologies. Yeah, that was
okay.
Officer Johnson. He guilty. You know.
My bad.
So let me ask you this though. Now, you riding around, Officer Johnson, and you see a fellow officer, and you know they are in the absolute wrong.
Mhm.
How do you handle that? And we got a caller, 88965. I'm gonna get to you right after he answers this question, and so I do apologize. You've been on hold for so long, but I do want to know, how would you handle that?
Me, I'm straightforward. I'm straightforward. I take it to him and I check him. I'm like, hey man, you know that was wrong. That was wrong. And you know, depending on what it is going to depend on the course of action that I take.
Mm-hmm.
We might say, hey, I'm gonna give you a prime example, man. I'm gonna give you a prime example. One of my supervisors did something wrong. He did something like he broke the law.
Wow.
And I wrote it up and I filed charges on him. Just like that.
Damn.
And you know the bad thing about it? The bad thing about it, he was a brother.
Oh,
he was a brother.
Damn. So would you have done the same thing against a white guy?
Of course.
Do you think that the response would have been the same?
No.
From management?
Probably not. Probably not. But the thing is, one bad cop makes us all look bad. And I'm probably the biggest critic of bad cops.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the first to put them on blast. Like, that was. We have this thing in policing. It's called Monday morning quarterbacking. If you've ever been around an officer, you've probably heard it a time or two. They always say, I don't want a Monday morning quarterback situation, which me, I don't care. I use it as a learning tool. No, you shouldn't have done this or that. Or if it was me in the situation, I would have done it this way or that way. It's a learning tool. That's how we learn from our mistakes. We learn from other people's mistakes, preferably from your own. You can learn from other people's mistakes. But in policing, they don't like to criticize fellow officers because it's like undermining or something like that. Which, I have a different look out on that, but
so when that happens, if people do not want to, and I understand that the same thing happens in my profession, but if someone is not willing to step up when a mistake is made, that mistake continues on, and eventually the system maybe doesn't break down all the way, but there definitely become so many flaws in the system. Eventually, the goals of the organization are not met. So it's in the best interest of the system, the organization, all the stakeholders involved. It's in the best interest that those mistakes be corrected, and there should be protocol. I think you did say that there are protocols in place depending on the severity of the situation. But the Monday morning quarterbacking, that's an ego issue. That's, oh, I made a mistake, but I don't want you to correct it because it's going to make me look bad.
But
so are we more concerned with people's egos? Or are we more concerned with properly policing the community?
Prime example. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Let's go back to the Alton Sterling shooting in Louisiana. Me and a couple of my colleagues that I'm real close with, we talk about situations like that. But when you talk to other officers, they like, oh, well, I wasn't in that situation, so I don't want to.
Right.
No, and we just ask them a question, like, do you think he was wrong or do you think he was right? Oh, well, I don't know. I wasn't there. You'll get a lot of that, too, that passiveness. Oh, I wasn't there. I don't know. Well, I don't know all the details. Or, it's to me, it's like making excuses for something that you know is there, but you don't want to acknowledge it. It's just it's that passive attitude, like, it could have been, but I don't know what the officer saw. Instead of saying, man, judging by the video, that just didn't look right. To me, it's nothing wrong with saying that.
So
not at all.
So how do you feel about the Jordan Edwards situation in that context? Are you finding the same thing with officers with that case?
With the Jordan Edwards situation, yes. I'm gonna be honest. I work about. My department is approximately 8 minutes from where that incident happened, and I'm very familiar with that neighborhood. With that, when I first heard about the situation, and I got all of the details, the first set of details that were released, I immediately said the officer was wrong. He was wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why I say that. The nature of the call it wasn't a shots fired call. It was a disturbance call involving teens and loud music. Upon that officer's arrival, shots were fired, but the shots were fired, from my understanding, at a nearby location. I want to say they said it was a nursing home, a parking lot of a nursing home. Regardless of, whether that's fact or fiction, I said the officer was wrong because due to the nature of that call, you do not exit your vehicle with an assault rifle for that type of call.
Right.
When you exit your vehicle with an assault rifle, that means there's a threat that you're concerned about. The other piece to that is if there was truly a threat, a seasoned officer would have waited for a cover unit to come if he was that afraid of what was to come. You see what I'm saying?
Right. You gotta break out that type of weaponry for
right.
You that scared, yeah, you might want to call somebody. And we do got a caller. She's been waiting for a long time, so I want to make sure that and she was on a little earlier, but I want to make sure she gets a question or a comment. So I do apologize. We're gonna get to 8965 right quick. Queen,
hi, this is Sonia. Hey, yes, this is Sonia again. I gotta tell you, listening to that older officer was painful. It was painfully enlightening. It goes back to something that I said. That gentleman showed you his mindset, told us his mindset about black people in his first opening statement about Nat Turner. He told you. In his eyes, everything about that is irrelevant because black people weren't citizens. So he told you what he thought about his people in the beginning. He also told you the big reason that he wants to be black is to be around black women. Now take that mindset and put a gun, the legal right to carry a gun, and police black people. What the hell do you think we're going to get?
Yeah.
And it goes back to what I said earlier, Queen, and I'll add about deflecting. Okay, that was a master deflection.
Absolutely, you're right.
keep us
right.
masterfully. That's it. And so that's why I will say again, those type of black officers, we don't need them.
You
because
are absolutely right.
Bobo said they are part of the problem. Whenever a a person tells you out their mouth, okay, that something cannot be justified or cannot be equal or cannot be this or that because black people weren't citizens then, you ought to slap the shit out of them. Pardon my language. I don't even
Shout out to you, Queen.
And that was absolutely his point, that those things could happen to us because we were not citizens then. That was absolutely his point. And I get your point about the deflection because every time he said 3-year-old child, that burns me up. Absolutely,
right.
You were absolutely right.
Yeah, but I don't want to let him gobble up too much of the show because that was just and we are going to actually. He's still tuned in, so we are going to allow you to come back and quote, and respond at some point. But I kind of want to make sure that we are able to cover a more wide range of topics, as opposed
I'm still
to
listening. This is a good show. I'm still listening.
Look, I want to ask you all a question, if that's okay.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, little old me, just a little police officer in Texas. I'm working on something, and I'll talk to my counterparts about it. I'm working on something that could possibly change law enforcement as we know it. What if? Me, you all's opinion on this. What if there was a way for? Okay, let me start by saying this. Let me start by saying this. You made a point earlier, and it's something. It alludes to what I'm working on. The issue is the police that are policing these areas do not have a vested interest in the community that they're serving.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So what if you had the opportunity as a citizen to have hands-on decision making in the officers that serve drug community? How would you
that would be dope.
That?
We were just talking. This is parallel to what we were talking about, policing our own communities with selecting people to be able to do that. And I think you're on to something that seems to me to be the best and most clear solution. Why no one's thought of it before, I have no idea. But if you know how a culture is or how a social air is in a certain community, it seems to me that you would be best fit to serve in that community instead of someone from a totally different culture who handles arguments in a different fashion to police that community. For example, when you have a white suburban cop go into the hood, not normally dealing with, a black man that's upset about something or two black women fighting, he automatically goes into that situation in fear because it's an uncommon situation to him, and that makes him more aggressive automatically.
Well, he doesn't understand that culture.
Exactly.
The people are scared of what they don't know.
Exactly.
It's the fear of the unknown. So I'm not used to seeing, and I give the example all the time. I had an officer that I worked with. He was a white guy, and me and him had a long. He had a long argument in the parking lot of a grocery store one night. He was upset, and he said to me, "I don't understand why every time you show up at my calls, you're the one that calms the people down, and I'm not." Now, mind you, we work in a predominantly black community.
Right.
So I tried to tell him, I say, hey, man, listen, you can be that cool white cop. You got that one cool white cop that can fit in and get through to these people. I say, but the issue is you can't relate to them. You're not relatable. Mm-hmm. When you show up in G.I. Joe mode with everybody listening to me because I'm running the show because I'm the police and I'm here. That's the wrong attitude to have. You have to show up. You have to listen to what's going on. You have to be empathetic to what the issue is, whatever it may be, and then you have to address the needs, whatever it is at that time. You can't just show up and throw your weight around, they're not gonna respond to that. They're gonna sit down, especially our people.
Exactly.
You know, you get it all the time. Well, I don't want to talk to him. I want to talk to him. He cool. You know, and I mean, I can't. Like I tell the kids all the time, don't dim your light so somebody else can shine bright. Yeah. You know, that's not fair. So, you know, but that is a question that I wanted to ask. Man, how would you all feel about that, or is that something that you would want for just say your community?
Man, I'm all for that. That is dope. Like a police draft.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to earn my vote. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
exactly. Not saying that the citizens will have total control, but this is the problem that I see. I see the issue being, let's take the police department where the Jordan Edwards situation happened.
Mm-hmm.
In Texas we call it the good old boy system.
Mm-hmm.
That's a prime example. Oh, I know the chief, so I can get the job. Now you have a what should be a police department that's turned into something like a fraternity, if you will.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
With guns.
I don't feel that it's fair for a handful of people to be able to handpick who's hired to serve a large community. I don't think that's fair, in my opinion. I think the community that those people are serving should have first-hand input on who they want to serve them. You see what I'm saying? Not just that shouldn't just lie on the city council. That shouldn't just lie with the chief or the city manager. That something that major should be almost 50-50. And like you say, you should be able to take that back to your neighbor and say, hey, this guy is up for hire in our community. What you think about him? Let me give you the rundown.
Exactly.
You know,
and
then you bring it back. And that's a model that I'm working on to kind of present. And if I got so many things going on right now, if I get to this position that I want, I promise you that is a model that I'm going to put in place just to see how it will work. And I guess
I'm in Houston, so I'm looking forward to it if that does happen. It'll trickle here rather quickly. So that sounds like a great idea.
And on that note,
we got to come up with something.
Yeah, and you know what? And even if I don't necessarily, and I do actually agree with that, I think that's a dope idea. But even if I didn't, the fact that you was willing to come out and publicly have an idea to elicit some type of change is really where I want to give you some applause at on that one. Because and we've had brothers that's in the police force before, and they were more like the older gentlemen they called, which is sad. Like that older gentleman was some young guy that was idealistic at some point, and you could tell. And that particular case made him bitter. And he hate us all. We all the same niggas.
Right.
If you live in a certain district, you didn't do something right. You know, and your parents, you know, you give the litany of excuses that we've heard. But on that note, let me get to 9766 right quick. What's good, fam?
What's up with it, y'all?
Just chilling, man.
Hello?
You know the drill.
Peace.
What's going on, Markel?
Man, not much, man. I just was, sitting back patiently, listening to it. But, I'm not going to lie to you. When I first seen the topic, like, man, I'm not doing this. Then I checked the guest that you have on, I was like, okay, I'm going to give this brother a chance. And hearing this brother talk, there was more police officers like him. I honestly wouldn't have as big as a distrust for the police as I do now. I can honestly sit there and say that this brother right here, I can honestly sit here and tell by the way he's talking that he came from the same neighborhood and through the same struggles that we had. So I have no problem with that brother. The one y'all had on before him, I actually hung up the phone because I couldn't stand listening to him talk no more. But I was wanting to ask the guest that's on now, the cop, if there was any law that you could change, what would it be?
Any law that I can change?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I wouldn't change any, but I would add one.
What was that?
I wouldn't change any, but I would add one, and the one that I would add would be geared towards police officers when they actually commit offenses.
Yes.
If that makes sense, what I said. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that the officers should I think when the lawsuits come down, first off, the money should come from the police union and then from the officer personally.
Well, we're not even talking lawsuits. Let's say remember what Guy said earlier. He said police officers are held to a higher standard. They are. We are.
Where?
So with that, no.
We're not seeing that, bro.
No, I know, but I'm saying if that's the case, the case, we need to be held more accountable for when we commit crimes as well.
Facts.
Ooh.
Does it make sense what I'm saying now?
Who's not held
I agree with you completely.
I'm missing something.
Okay, he said.
What he's saying is like say a cop punches somebody unlawfully. That should be held to a higher standard than let's say I go
he was
punch
saying
somebody.
I thought he meant the citizens. Okay.
No.
I got you.
No. So let's say in Texas our highest crime is like first degree felony, right? That's the worst crime that you can commit. You got first degree felony, second degree, third degree, state jail felony. So let's just say a cop beats up somebody and gives them like swelling in the face or whatever.
Okay.
Where they all swole up. If it was two citizens, that would be a Class A assault, right?
Right.
If a cop did it, I really think you should go a step above. The step above that would be a felonious offense. It will make it a felony, due to the fact that you are held to a higher standard.
Yeah, makes sense.
You're held to a higher. You in essence, you know better. You know better,
right.
And when you know better, you do better.
Mm-hmm.
I think our country is too lenient when it comes to police officers being involved in crimes, as opposed to regular citizens involved in crimes. So I hope.
And and we could even take it a step further, as opposed to other professions. You know, like if you commit a crime as a doctor, and it's literally like, say you operating on somebody and come to find out it was your baby mama's boyfriend, and you just sliced off his arm and said it was an accident, but it was intentional. They hold you to a higher standard for that shit.
Right.
You know
that.
I agree with you, man. Like it should be, and I'm gonna get our manager on the line too. Rome, my bad, man. I know I done had you in the queue there for a second. But what I do have one question for you too, man. Like even though, like listening to you, man, you can hear the conviction, you can hear the wisdom, and you trying. But it's got to be a lot of brothers and sisters that look at you and just see the uniform, and you is every name in the book. How do you deal with that?
Wow, you took my
To be honest, man, I'm doing
my bad.
10 years. Next Friday I'll be 32. So I started at 22. It took me a long time to get to where I am now. And basically, I just kept it real with the people that I serve. I just kept it real with them. You know, I show up and I tell them what it is. And I would be a man of my word if I said I was going to do something. I did it. And to be honest, I gained respect from it. And I tell the kids all the time, I say, man, you know, they'll say, oh, forget 12, woo, you op and all of this. And I tell them, I say, you know, the different thing about me, I can go to my hood right now in my uniform and still get love from everybody on the block.
I believe that.
Wow.
Just because I kept it real. I keep and I educate them. You know, they'll come to me and say, they'll be like, hey, Jay, man, this what happened, and let me give you the rundown, woo. And, you know, of course, I tell them, look, bro, you probably need to stop doing what you're doing, but this is what's going to get you caught up. This is what's going to get you jammed up, you know, X, Y, Z. I teach them the game. I never forget what made me do that. I was listening to a Tupac song. I'm a Tupac fan, and I was listening to Staring Out My Rear View, and Tupac said at the end he said life is a game, and when you understand it's a game to be played, it's not a trick no more. And that stood out to me. So I took that same mentality. I said, okay, let me teach these people because I can see the game. I can see the game that the officers, like the brother earlier played, giving them these offers that they can't refuse. You see what I'm saying? So I teach them the game. Like, man, let me school you right quick. This is what's gonna happen. They're gonna try to roll you like this. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not teaching you this so you can go out here and break more laws. I'm teaching you this so you can be wiser and stop doing what you're doing, and so you can understand that that's a no-win situation. You see what I'm saying? If you forever going in this circle, you'll never get out. That's the first thing that I realized by being a police officer. It's not that we're dumb, regular citizens or the black community is dumb. It's just the way that these laws are written. They're written the way that they're written. They're targeted towards us, and we keep doing the same thing. So we make it easy for them to mess with us, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, nah, man, that's a game. Nah, bro, come on, let me school you right quick. This is what's going on. Take for example the cars with the rims, with the big rims, right? Say I got a 84 Caprice and I got some 26-inch rims on it. Guess what I just did? Real talk.
You just made yourself a target.
Not just that. In Texas, I just broke the law because in Texas we got a ride height. We got a ride height law. Your headlights have to be a certain width from the ground. If you ever, I don't know how popular trucks are in the area of the country that you all are in, but in Texas, trucks are pretty popular. So how the other races got around it, they started putting light bars on their trucks at the bottom of the truck. If you ever notice, you see a truck with a light bar on the bottom, that's not just for fashion, or that's not because it's a trend. That's because that's the only way I'm not going to get pulled over and get a ticket. You see what I'm saying? Once I have you stopped, I got you. I can take you to jail for anything in the law book in Texas except for drinking and except for open container and speeding. If you don't have a front license plate on your car, I can take you to jail for that.
And I think it depend on how fast you're going too.
No, I can take you to jail for. You cannot have enough tread on your tires, and I can take you to jail. You cannot have enough meat on your windshield wipers, and I can take you to jail.
Who measuring the tread on? Who measuring? I didn't know that.
I guarantee you, it's an officer out there right now checking tread on tires.
Let me check my tires when I go out.
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Hey, hold on. Let me get Roman on the line too, man. Hold on 1 second, King. Hold on. My bad, Ron. What's good, fam?
Yeah, what's good, fam?
Hey, Ron.
Peace. Yo,
we just chopped it up with Officer Johnson, man.
Yeah, I hear, bro, man. I'm with him. Yo, AJ, happy birthday, my nigga. I love you, bro. I ain't even want to.
Happy birthday, AJ.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, continue. I do have a question. Yeah. As a black police officer, well, I got family that's cops, and I'm asking them the same question. Now we've heard rumors that it is out as far as police forces go, to where it's a lot of racism that takes place within the police force. So I've always wanted to know that, and this is me asking you, when you go in and you suit up every day and you throw that badge on, is it black first or is it blue first?
When I put my badge on, I'm gonna be honest with you. And you might not like my answer. It's me first. It's me first. If that makes sense, it's me first.
Where did you come from?
It's me first. So you have to look at that. When I say it's me first, it's me physically and mentally. I provide for my wife and my 2 daughters. So I gotta go home to them first. That's my responsibility. Then when you talk about me, I'm a black man. So when I take this uniform off, that's the one thing that I can't change is the fact that I'm a black man. So I went to answer your question is me first.
That's what you speak.
Yeah, I know what the answer would have been of the other officer.
Nah, and I'm gonna be honest
wait,
with you, man.
I don't want to keep bringing him up, but is it just me, or did anyone else think about the cop from the Boys in the Hood?
Oh man, I didn't. But now that you
it was just me. I'm by myself. Okay. All right.
You're so petty. That's just not right.
The black ones with these Goldberg lips.
I'm just saying. That's what kept running through my head. I'm sorry. Carry on. It's just me. It's just me. So I'm checking myself and we're going to keep moving.
Nah, you I agree with you on that one.
Markel, your call dropped, bro. I don't know. That wasn't me. Just to put that out there. And like you like really kind of like just ruining the whole, you know, and it's fuck the police whole mentality, man. Like, you know, I might have to hang up on you in a second, man.
I'm gonna be honest.
I think I might have to get old boy back on, you know, to get my anger back up, you know, because you said and done all the right things.
Yeah,
man,
like
I ain't got a bad answer yet, so
we need a million of him though. Like here, like I live in Baltimore. So, like, here, they bringing a lot of white boys from West Virginia, Jersey, Pennsylvania, you know what I'm saying, and throw these people in these environments in which they don't know nothing about. They don't know nothing. They don't know Miss Johnson on 25th Street, you know what I'm saying?
But you ain't hear what he said earlier, then, though, bro. Because he was like he coming up with an idea where a neighborhood would elect the officers that serve them.
Yeah, that's a model that I'm working on.
That's
we got to get behind that. How do we get behind that? You need to come on, stop, drop some of them projects, and jump on that.
All right,
that's necessary.
I'm gonna put it out there. I haven't really put it out there, but I'm gonna put it out there with y'all because you know y'all family, y'all adopted family now. So
that's what's up.
So I'm running for constable. And the constable is basically an elected official, an elected law enforcement official in Texas. And the area that I'm running is in Dallas. And the area that I'll be covering 7 different areas. And if I'm running in January, the election is next March. And if I get it, I promise you that's my first task is to change this hiring process. The constable is equivalent to a people police. If you don't know, it's equivalent to a people police. That's gonna be my first agenda. I'm gonna relinquish that hiring power over to the citizens because in essence, it's your community. I don't think it'll be fair for me to decide who, as one person, who protects and serves you. That's not fair to me. You know, I'm gonna present a candidate to you, and we're gonna make this a collaborative effort. You know, hey, what do y'all think about it? We're gonna have a task force. Hey, you know, it'll be random like jury duty or something. You may get a slip in the mail. Hey, if you want to participate in the hiring of this officer, be at such and such place at such and such time on such and such date.
And I got a couple of things to add to that though. If you're gonna do it, you know, you cannot exclude felons from that process. They still have to have a place to live. You know.
No. We're not excluding anybody. We're not excluding anybody.
You should just go by registered residents of that area. No criminal lookup. No where you work. What do you do? Just do you live at this address? Can you prove it?
Man, it's like this. I got felons in my family, man. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I got felons in my family, and
look,
you know
we got a felon on the line. One of us a felon. You know.
I don't discriminate. You know, it's just
that's a fact.
One of us, at least one of us a felon. So.
it is what it is. I could have been a felon, you know. I wasn't always perfect. Still not perfect, but you know that's just my vision. That's my vision, and I'm pretty sure once I do it, it's going to change the dynamics of law enforcement because it's going to be one of those trending things. It's going to be, okay, well, it worked for them. Let's try it here. You know, we live in that day and age now so where everybody picks up on trending things. So it's like, hey, this is my platform. This is what I want to bring to my platform. This is what I want to use my platform for to change the dynamics of law enforcement because it's needed.
Yeah. Well, the pushback is going to be, though, especially, you know, like after people listen to the archive of this show, because they can listen to it from now into infinity after we're done. But the pushback is going to be like everything that you said up until the point where you said you running for constable was basically just some bullshit that you doing and saying so that you can get this job.
Oh, no. Anybody know me? No. I don't even roll like that. I say I mean what I say. The good thing about it, if I don't deliver, you ain't got to vote for me the next time. Right. You know, that's a fact. It's not a political, because I don't play politics. I just keep it real. It's just
how long does constable serve? How long is the term for constable?
4 years. 4 years. I would be the youngest Dallas County constable in history if I won.
Well, that's what's up. I can't vote for you, but if I was in Dallas, I would. Well, off of this conversation, because I don't know enough, but off of this conversation, it sounds like you'd be an appropriate candidate. So that's what's up.
I mean, it's needed, man. It's needed. People can say, "Oh, that's a political stunt." Nah, man, that's real. We talking about people's lives, man. I got nephews. You know, I got a daughter. You know, in Texas, we always keep something in the news dealing with police officers. A couple of years ago, it was the cop in McKinney that drugged the little black girl at the party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that could have been my daughter.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we got to change the dynamics, man. We got to change the narrative. And I'm tired of seeing people sitting back on their ass not doing nothing. They got the power to do it, but won't.
That's a fact, and that's a definite fact, man. People been getting their pockets fat and sold us up the river, man.
Yeah, so
I might actually know somebody in Dallas too, man. I might, we'll chop it up.
Hey, that's what's up, but like I say, that's where I am with it. Some people may like it, some people may not. I'm not here for no fashion show. I don't care who like it, who old, who make a friend, who look at it. When it comes to policing, man, I'm dead serious about it. Dead serious. I how you listen to some of the rappers, man, they be like, I die for it. Like, that's pretty much where I am right now, man. I'm on some rights in law enforcement type stuff right now. That's just, we need it, man. I'm tired of seeing unarmed people get killed or harassed, or I'm tired of looking at the news and it's kids that ain't even graduated yet. Like, it's crazy, man. It really boils my blood, to be honest. But,
let me ask you this.
I'm about to change the narrative.
I agree with you 1,000%. Let me ask you this. When you go out of town, do you feel like just another nigga, or do you feel like you get a little love because you are an officer?
Honestly, and I don't even tell them. I don't even tell them. I just wait and see. I just wait and see what they gonna say, just so I can see how I'm gonna get treated.
So when they violate, you can hit them with that "you law enforcement too, huh?"
Has that happened to you?
Yeah, I had an old white guy pull me over. I was speeding. I'm like, no, sir, I wasn't speeding. He was like, yeah, you were speeding. You gonna argue with me? I'm like, I didn't have my uniform on or nothing. I was taking my daughter to school. And he was like, wait right here. I gave him my insurance. He go back, run my name, see I don't have any warrants. officer, if you don't mind, how fast was I going? Oh, you were doing 10 miles over the speed limit. I say, well, how do you know that and you don't even have a radar? He say,
your phone breaking up just a little bit there. Yeah, go ahead.
I say, I know for a fact you don't have a radar in your car because your department took all the radars out of your squad cars 2 months ago. I say, okay, all right. If you're going to write me a ticket, go ahead and write it so I can take it to court. You know, but I just want to let you know I'm an officer too. And I know the law and I know your department's policy. So he kind of just shrugged his shoulders and gave me the ugly look, and you know, we went on about our business. But
so what you do with the ticket?
He didn't give me one. Okay. He couldn't give me one. He what I say earlier, I said it's a game. He tried to play a game with me, but I knew the game, so it wasn't a trick. So you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see that was not like, you know, like you was able to pull that you know, at least something out the bag. You know, I'm an officer. Yeah. You know, like that and even then, like that may or may not work.
Yeah, it may or may not, but you know, I try to find every stereotype. When they pull you over, they think you're gonna be loud. They think you're gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna give you what you want. Here you go. I'm clean, you know. And other thing I always tell people, or I teach people, is in Texas. I don't know if it applies in other states, but in Texas, you know, they can search your car upon consent, right? So I always tell cats, you know, if you don't, just go ahead and let them start it, right?
Yeah, you literally just broke up right in the middle of the conversation. All I heard was you don't, and then you just went blank.
I went blank.
Nope.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, so I tell them, you know, just go ahead and let them search your car. The key to that is, in Texas, man, you can, okay, say I pull you up, right? I say, let me search your car. And you let me search your car, right?
Okay.
What you may not know is, at any given moment, you could tell me to stop. You want the search to be over with. And I have to stop. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So why would you allow it in the first place, though?
Because if I don't allow you to search my car, you're gonna search it anyway. You're gonna get a search warrant. You're gonna find some reason to search the car, right? I'm gonna find some reason to search the car. So I might as well just let you search it for 20 seconds and then say, okay, I want the search to be over with. And by law, I have to stop the search. If I find anything past that point, it's called fruits of the poisonous tree, which means I cannot charge you with it.
Right.
Because I told you to terminate the search. You found it anyway. You see, that makes sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it sound good on paper, but when you in that moment as a practical survival move, like that's first off, they're not gonna just stop. And when you get to court, you're gonna say I told him to stop, and they're gonna say no, he didn't, and nobody's gonna believe you.
It's how I record it. It's our body cam, dash cam. It's all recorded. And I know it sounds far fetched, but like I say, the officer is gonna play a game. It's your responsibility to learn the game and figure out how to play the game with him when you know it's some BS.
Yeah, see, man, that's you know, and
yeah, it's a tough one to swallow. I know.
Yeah, because it just, you know, and one thing is that, like, the demographics is a little different, you know, different everywhere. Like, that may work where you at. It just may. You know, that's not probably going to work in Utah. or Minnesota,
it might not,
or other parts of Texas, like a whole bunch of parts of Texas. Like that sound, that ain't gonna do nothing but get your ass whooped and then took into jail. And they may or may not put something in your car that you didn't have otherwise before that encounter.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the people that was really angry about me even posting about having this conversation are listening tonight, because this is why I wanted to have that conversation. Like, and I do agree that, and I think if you've been listening long enough to the show tonight, you know that there are some officers that you just can't have this conversation with. We had Exhibit A on the line. However, those officers that you can have a dialogue with, why wouldn't you? That's just my question.
Right.
And damn, we only got like 3 minutes left on the show, man. And I want to say, man, you like salute to you, bro. And definitely inbox me, man. And I'll reach out to my people, because I don't know if you got the veterans on your side in that area. They may be able to help you out with that.
That's a bit, man. I sure appreciate y'all having me, man, listening to what I had to say.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Not a problem at all. Hey, anytime, man, I'm more than willing to talk, man. That's the issue, man. We got to have these open dialogues, man.
Well, I know, man. You kind of screwed it up, though, man. Like you like the perfect cop and shit. Like, you gotta come. You gotta listen to some Tupac before you come on next time, man. Some and not. I'm talking about the hit 'em up Tupac. I ain't talking about the Brenda's Got a Baby, or Dear Mama. You gotta hype it up a little.
I got you.
But definitely, man, just on behalf of the show, man, definitely want to thank you for coming on, man, hanging out with us, man. And it's dope that you got a chance to speak at the graduation too. Shout out to the kids at the school you was at. But truly a testament, man, to who we are, and when we talk to each other, and more importantly when we listen.
Hey, most definitely, man. Hey, shout out to y'all, man. Keep doing what you do. I appreciate it.
Hey, you know what? Before we go, man, we got one more question. It may take us over just a little bit, but if that's cool with y'all, y'all cool? Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
I mean, one more caller, my bad. 8130 wants to get a question or a comment in right quick. What's good, fam?
Yo, what up? It's Big Wolf in the building, bro.
What's up, Wolf? What's going on, bro?
What's good, my G?
Same old, man. Life, man. We got Rome on the phone. We got Queen Afi on the phone, and we got Officer Johnson on the phone.
Oh, you got
What's shaking, man?
What's good, homie? I don't do too of the police. I'm keep it band with you. Me and police don't get along at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I ain't going. I'm gonna be nice today.
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna be nice today. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be nice today.
Yeah, I appreciate it too, Wolf.
There's not a lot of time right now, so I can't be what I want to be. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be nice right now. I'm gonna come and show some love, you know? Not to the police though. What the police? But to the show. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we don't rock.
What was the question?
Huh?
Did you have a question or a comment there, Wolf?
Oh,
I already know how you get down in that aspect.
You already know how I get down. I'm some love for the show. You already know how I get down. So I'm not gonna do that.
Now I must admit, bro, like, and you already know, man. But this cat is, at least from our interaction tonight, is different. He a unicorn. I ain't saying
if we want something
in general,
If let me just make a comment to this brother. If we want something to change, which is what we always scream about, always talk about, when we have people that are actually acting, their behavior is reflective of the change that we're trying to make, we're going to have to respect that. So it can be fuck the police all day, but it needs to be fuck the police on an individual basis.
No.
Well, then that's the lack of you moving forward. That's what's going to keep you from moving forward, for your failure to be able to.
I think it's in the middle.
For your failure to be able to
I think
separate.
you can be fuck the police with exceptions. You know, because fucking police
essentially,
is saying
well, that's
systemically.
essentially what I'm saying. You're fucking fuck the police in general, but you're gonna have individuals that you can't fit into that category, and we're gonna have to be as long as we're in this country and not separated. That's how it's gonna happen because the system is always gonna work against us. So if we're gonna have people in the system, protective of us, that's working for the system, that's how it's gonna have to be.
Well,
so we're gonna have to start looking at it like that.
The one thing you got to understand is you can't beat the system. The system is there. It's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. Police not going nowhere. The system not going nowhere.
I'm a separatist, so I already know that. I'm really not concerned about whether the system gets fixed or not, because that's a whole different topic. But all I'm saying is that if we're gonna ask for something to change, then we can't continuously disregard those who are actively trying to change it just because we don't like the institution that they're a part of. Because someone brought that up earlier. If no black people were a part of the police system in this country, then we're just going to have a system of white people doing to us whatever they want to do us because
it'll be even worse.
Yeah, exactly. We need some on the inside and the outside, or it's not going to work in our favor.
Exactly.
I believe in eye for eye. You kill one of ours, kill one of yours. That's how I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
All right. I mean, and I think, and the one thing I think the other guy said that was true. Well, matter of fact, I don't think it was him, but basically about duality. You know, you don't have to have you can believe both. You know, you can say, hey, we need to put some people in that we have vetted fully, that we are confident will not bend or break. You know, but let's not fool ourselves in thinking that systemically that one person is going to change the whole system.
Right.
They would just give us a glimpse into the system and allow us to navigate that system maybe more effectively.
Yeah. That's true. I think the sister said that.
But, yeah, I think you're right, too. And it also depends on where you at, too. Like Wolf is in Bmore. You know, like what went down in Baltimore, it had like a lifelong effect on people.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
you know, even if you didn't like the police before then, you really hate the police now, and it is almost impossible to overcome that, given what the tragedy that occurred. Whereas somebody in another area where that didn't have that was not going to have that same experience and that same point of reference.
Yeah, that's understandable. Can't stay that way forever, though.
Nah, not at all.
Or you're just gonna always refuse the change if it's gonna stay that way.
It's easy to say, but it's people still talking about the riots in Detroit.
Right. No, I said, it's completely understandable.
You know, so I try to look at it from every aspect, but what I will say, man, and I want to make sure that don't forget we got the Conscious Olympics coming up July 30th, and Officer Johnson, just so you know, basically we came up with a game show. It's for us and by us and about us, and we're gonna have it live streamed for $5. $5 to get in the door, be in Detroit. And basically, we just ask a series of historical questions about black folks. Whoever answers the most correctly gets $500 to take home. So that should be pretty dope, man. We got a nice lineup, and on that, man, we may have to make some changes as far as our contestants due to some unforeseen circumstances. We in the process of trying to make that happen now. But trust and believe. You won't be disappointed with the people that we're going to get. But, like I said, some things we can't control. Huh? What did you say, Wolf?
Long as not polite.
No, bro, it's not. No, man. Don't forget to check out the groups All Black Everything and My Skin Is My Sin. And I don't know what's happened with our co-host AJ, but happy birthday to you, King, man. We love you, man.
All right,
check out the clothing, Intellectually Petty Apparel, and we got some clothing too, man. And I make clothes too, Officer Johnson. You know, I see you out there trying to, you know, you got some shirts out there too. So if you need something made, hit me up.
Yeah. Hey, I got you. I'm definitely gonna check you out and support you, brother.
No doubt, man. And likewise, man. And like I say, man, definitely want to thank you, man. And, you know, people, you know, when you put this up, everybody's expecting, you know, fire and brimstones and shit like that. But if you listen to the show, you already know, I don't care who you are, you're going to get treated a certain way. I may not agree with you. Afi may not agree with you. AJ may not agree with you. But you're going to have the ability to speak your piece to an extent. Like, even with the other officer today. He got an ability to speak his piece. We don't like what you said, but you got a right to say that shit. You know, I'm not mad at you for that. You know, the slogan is not just a slogan, it's a lifestyle. From goons to gods, man, we do welcome everyone. We only have one rule, and that's be respectful. Afi, did you have anything you want to say before we shut it down, Queen?
Nah, I appreciate that him and the previous officer, you know, and the sister that called in. I did. I also just wanted to mention Officer Johnson about your info. We're actually having that APA Psych convention that's going to be out in Dallas, and I would love if I could reach out and possibly have you speak about the lack of trust and how the media portrays the black community versus the white community with rioting and protesting. So if I can get you to get involved in that, that would be amazing. And that's it. I appreciate the position here, the opportunity here, as always, and I had a good time. So.
Hey, just inbox me that info if you will. I definitely love it.
Definitely.
You still
and
there?
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, AJ.
Thank you.
Well, we actually talking about our the other AJ, like our co-host name is AJ too. But when was your birthday, bro? My bad. When was your birthday though?
No, it's next Friday.
Oh damn, that's dope, man.
Well,
happy birthday,
you can have that too.
Man.
Happy birthday.
You're like, thank you. Like we had no way of knowing that though, really though. I'm just saying. You know. Hey, I might actually be. I'm trying to come to Dallas in August, man. So don't give me a ticket, bro. For real.
Hey, matter of fact, to Dallas, man, I got you. I'm gonna show you a good time. I'm gonna take care of you.
That's a bet, man. I'm gonna hold you to it. On that note, man, we're gonna wrap it up, man. Definitely appreciate the build. Appreciate your time and your wisdom, man. And to that other guy, man, I hope you are not in Ohio or Michigan or Texas. And it gets better, man. You just got to focus, meditate, and get some help.
Is he retired? Look.
I don't know, man. I think so, but...
What was his name? Larry? Where was he at? Larry from where?
I can't remember where
he's
from.
I need to know.
That would be helpful.
Indiana.
I'm going to go back and listen. I'm going to go back and listen to the show.
Like you said, Indiana.
Peace, man.
Come to Baltimore.
Boys in the hood cop. There's that boys in the hood cop.
Stay away, man. You know, seek help, man.
He will put a case on you.
Gotta let it go at some point. But anyway, man, and I have no idea what we're talking about next week, or else I will plug that. I forget the title, but we talking about corporal punishment. Whooping your kids' ass.
You're talking about ass whipping. Ass whipping.
I'm trying to be nice, okay? You know, give me a break here, all right? I'm trying to be nice. No, we're talking about ass whoopers next week. You for it? You against it? You know, what's the pros? What's the cons? Let us know.
I'm all for
as usual. You say what?
I'm all for that.
We got one more for ass whoopers.
I'm against
it. Should be interesting.
That'll be interesting.
And Officer Johnson, we on every Thursday, man, from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Man, I promise you I'm going to check you out next Thursday. I'll be there.
Oh,
yeah,
no doubt,
the
man.
one. Let us know how you discipline your daughter, your children, let us know. So get the one call in.
Fact. And David Banner, if you're out there, you listening, we trying to get that interview, bro. Send the email. Hit us back.